It's Week 14 of the National Football League, and we'll see Chris Olave, who's closing in on 1,000 yards receiving on the year. It's the Saints and the Panthers, and it comes your way next on EA Sports.
From a city that's played host to 10 Super Bowls, here's a look inside the Superdome in New Orleans. Today, it's a Week 14 matchup, which should be a good one, as it'll be the Carolina Panthers taking on the New Orleans Saints. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and Charles, you look at this Saints team as they interplay. They come into this one knowing it's been a while since tasting victory. They've dropped 4 in a row.
Can they remember what it was like to win a game? In these types of situations, you're looking for someone to inspire you, and it doesn't have to be one of your best players either.
On the other side of the field for the visiting Panthers, they were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
And no run back on the opening kickoff. It'll come out to the 25. So here come the Saints to take over for the first time. And here's the new man under center after 9 seasons as a Raider. Derek Carr is the guy.
And what I loved about meeting with him before the game was talking to a guy who takes ownership of his performance. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions last week, but all he focused on was the loss, okay? And he did say, if I change my stats a little bit, not necessarily for me to look better, but that'll help my team.
They start the drive on the ground. Kamara. That's about as exciting of a 1-yard run as you're going to see. Finding a way to dodge that first would-be tackler. But again, just 1 yard out of it. The last play got just a yard. Here's 2nd and 9 from the 26. They run it again with Kamara. And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. Well, this defense, Charles, really played well in that win a week ago.
But we certainly had a nice conversation with the defensive coordinator, didn't we? And what we heard, I like what we did, but we definitely need more pressure on the quarterback this week.
And he's going to have the first down, yardage to the 35. Well, didn't get it by much, but bottom line got the first down, avoiding that 3 and out. How vital is that on the first drive?
To me, it's like the first round of a boxing match. You know, it may not mean much right then and there, but you'd rather not lose it, right? So you want to go.
Look at this, middle of the field, a breakaway. And they will finally catch him, but not before he gets it to the 11. 63 yards rushing for him as he's got the afternoon off to a great start. You were telling me this yesterday. This is exactly what they want to do on the opening drive, establish the ground game.
Yeah, remember our conversation? We were talking about what one of the GMs in the league has told me repeatedly. It's a big man's game, and it's not necessarily size. He's talking about playing some big boy football. Line up, get leverage, knock people back, and establish the run early.
2nd and 6 with the ball on the 7th. Now they'll throw with Carr. That is caught by Olave. Touchdown, New Orleans. A great effort there with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Saints are on the board first here this afternoon.
The losing streak had taken on a life of its own, and I think it infiltrates a team when you're on that much of a slide. But this group has managed to focus, come out early, and put a touchdown on the board.
Oh, this is blocked. Picked up by the offense. This is a live ball. But call it luck or skill, whatever the case is, they're feeling good about just keeping the football there.
Yeah, the biggest thing that they're calling it now, our ball. I mean, they don't care if it was luck or skill. Boy, the panic that jumps up in your chest when that ball's on the ground, whether you get it or your teammate gets it, just as long as you maintain possession, that's all you're looking for.
So here are the Panthers now for their opening drive. And they will be led out by their rookie quarterback.
Bryce Young, the quarterback out of Alabama with a Heisman Trophy in his hip pocket, is the new face of Carolina football. 80 touchdowns, just 12 picks in his college career for the Crimson Tide. He may be a little small in terms of size, but potential, massive.
They'll start on the ground with Hubbard. And he goes across the 20 to the 22. A check on the numbers last week for Hubbard. Pretty good as he found himself in the end zone on 2 separate occasions.
And those are the most important numbers because no matter what you pile up prior to the goal line, getting in is all that matters. Putting those numbers up on the board, and they love them when they're 6s.
Meanwhile, Young throw complete there to Thomas. Give him a gain of 5 on the completion. And that's going to make it 3rd down and less than a yard. We'll see what kind of mindset they have here offensively after giving up the touchdown on the opening drive.
And based on our time with them, prior to this game, I feel like they've got a good mindset going in. In fact, the discussion that we had with the coaching staff was, we may give up some points in this game, so our offense has to be ready each and every time to either equal or try and get us ahead and try and keep us ahead. This is their chance to respond to that first touchdown given up.
That burst good for 20 and a 1st down.
Plenty of things to talk about here, partner, but to me, their defense gave up a touchdown on the first drive. How about how they're responding, coming back? That's a big 3rd down pickup to keep their drive alive.
Off the play fake, Young. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete. These two teams, they met in Charlotte earlier in the year with the Panthers coming out on top. So they'll be looking for the win here in New Orleans to complete the season sweep. Now a deep ball there on 2nd down, but it'll wind up incomplete.
They decided the opportunity was there and launched a deep ball, but he was unable to get away from the defender, couldn't create space, couldn't uncover at the end of the route, and that one winds up incomplete.
Young on 3rd down, forced out to his left. That is caught, and bulldozing his way through. He'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. A gain of 32 that time.
A very early momentum changer there. Actually a dream killer for the defense because they forced a 3rd down. Felt like they had a good chance to get off the field defensively, and then they got hit with that big play.
A give up the middle, Hubbard. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard.
That's a really nice job by them picking up the run blitz and detecting it and blocking it and turning it into a nice run. And a lot of times you think if you blitz a running play, you're going to smother it. But a lot of the blitzers, they come in a little bit high. They don't have great leverage, and they're easily blocked and turned to the side.
And he will take it across for a Panthers touchdown. Chuba Hubbard with his 6th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Panthers have tied the ball game with a chance to take the lead. Well, first quarter, maybe too early to talk about statement drives, Charles, but that sure seemed like a statement drive right there.
Well, if we're going to talk about statement drives, I think what they're saying is we're going to establish the run. They gave it to him early and often on this drive, and he wound up taking it into the end zone.
Pinheiro's extra point up and good. And they take the lead here at 7-6. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And this will be a touchback, so they'll bring it out to the 25. New Orleans Saints, they get ready to set up shop for their 2nd drive. And it's a unit last drive that did it all on the ground, Charles.
And they controlled it from the interior, big on big, right? Offensive lineman versus defensive lineman. But in order to keep the football moving downfield, other people have to get involved as well. Your wide receivers, your tight ends, lead runners, anything that you have possible to get in front and keep the ball moving.
Now the defense may be looking out for a pass coming up. After one, a 1-point game, 7-6. Ready for the 2nd quarter from New Orleans. It's the Saints in possession as they've got it with a 1st and 10. Kamara up the middle. On a determined run there as he's going to take this all the way down near the 40. 80 yards rushing for him as he has been tough to stop here in this first half. His first carry of their second drive, pretty solid. And, of course, remember back to their first drive, really strong throughout that one.
Not only is he getting good blocking up front, but how about his vision to find the holes? And he's seeing things before they even open and hurdling through them.
Meanwhile, Carr's throw caught by his receiver, Hill. And he takes this just a few yards shy of the red zone before going out. On play action, it's Carr. This one complete to his fullback out of the backfield. They'll wind up getting 7 on the play, and it'll be second down.
Well, this has certainly been a nice drive with the way they've spread the football around. Here, they even get the fullback involved in the passing game. That's got to cause a lot of consternation on the defensive side. You've got to cover him, too. That makes things really difficult.
Carr to throw on second down. Throw left side, taken in by Hill. And he'll be out of bounds, taking it just shy of the 10 at the 11 or the 12. From down at the 12, it's 1st and 10. Carr now to throw. Left sideline, a dive, and it looks like he's got it. And he's got him. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. Juwan Johnson with an amazing diving catch. And the Saints are able to move back in front. This time, the extra point up and good. And that'll make this a 6-point game. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And out a little across the 25 to the 27. Here comes Chuba Hubbard. Let's take a closer look at him. They'll be looking to get in the end zone again. Had the touchdown, as you see, last drive on 4 carries. And during the break, we were looking at some of the replays from the previous drive. Really good holes created, great space.
Yeah, I like the observation you had, though, during that break about, okay, they've got to do something to slow down their runners. So is it bringing in more defensive linemen? Is it dropping in extra linebackers? What are you going to do? Personally, I'm going to take my safety and drop him into the box. I'm going to have at least 7 in there until he shows that he can beat me through the air.
Yeah.
I've got to slow down the running.
I was just going to say, you'll take the exposure in the passing game over the top until you can prove that you can stop the running game.
Sometimes you go cold because you haven't thrown it in a while. Let's see if he can heat up again.
And this is how you answer a touchdown the other end. You come out throwing to start your own drive. And not just throwing, but pushing it down the field. And they come up with a big play as they try to answer back with a score of their own.
Thomas brings it in. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop him. The 2 big plays right in succession as this one goes for 27.
Not only have they completed a couple on this drive, but they peeled off some pretty good chunks of yardage, too.
Absolutely. Great start. 2 nice plays in the pass game. Now can they continue to feed off that? There's a 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. They'll run out of the gun. It's Hubbard. And he can't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. Back-to-back nice plays. 12 yards that time and a 1st down.
Would you say this offense is locked in right now?
They're having no trouble on this drive. What is it, 3 plays, 3 first downs?
Yeah, you talk about on the march. They keep this up, they'll get to that end zone real fast.
1st down, they'll stay on the ground with Hubbard. And that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line. Now that sends him 2 yards in the wrong direction and leads to 2nd down.
The short field shrinks even more with the type of bodies they brought in on that play. Those extra tight ends, they weren't able to secure their blocks, and that one ended up going backwards.
And he's going to get this back to the 3-yard line and no further. So can this New Orleans defense stand tall again? 3rd and goal. They'll look to run with Hubbard. And he is in. Touchdown, Carolina. Chuba Hubbard with his 2nd touchdown of the game, number 8 on the season. And the Panthers are an extra point away from capturing the lead. So his strong first half continues as he finds the end zone here for the second time.
And definitely good blocking at the point of attack, and you just have to love watching the way he can create space down near the goal line, and he's able to take it into the end zone.
Pinheiro now to add the extra point. And this puts him on top by a penny. It's 14-13. That time a 6-play drive. And it was Chuba Hubbard who finished it off with a touchdown run. The Carolina kick team is out there ready to go, and they kick this one away. And he'll decide to not bring this one out as their drive will begin at the 25. Derek Carr and the Saints set to go back on offense. And the numbers for the last drive, and he was perfect, which maybe isn't surprising because he has not missed a pass in this game yet.
And it lets you know just how precise things have to be for a quarterback to be perfect, because that means the line's blocking really well. No one's dropping any of the passes thrown to them, and the quarterback is accurate. It's almost like a pitcher throwing a no-hitter or a perfect game, isn't it? He's the principal guy, but he needs a lot of help.
Time to find out if he can keep that perfect game going here, partner. He'll try again with the arm here on second down. This is complete to Michael Thomas. And he's upended at the 33, following a good pickup of 8. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also third down. He's got his target. That's complete. And he is going to have a Saints first down as they're able to get the third down conversion. Again, it's Carr. Drops this off to Kamara out of the backfield. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. The catch and run there, good for 16 and a first. Throwing now is Carr. Over the middle into the hands of Michael Thomas. The Saints going to call the first of their timeouts as the clock stops here with 46 seconds remaining in the first half. On play action, now Carr. He completes it to Olave. And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 and mark him at the 5. So it's first and goal and a great opportunity to get that lead back before the break. Now Carr. Well, he's got it. Touchdown, Saints. Jerome Jackson. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns here so far. And the Saints will take the lead here in the final minute of the first half. Let's look to add the extra point. He missed one earlier, remember, but this time he gets it to go. So this drive spans 7 plays, and it ends with a touchdown for New Orleans. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line. Here comes Chuba Hubbard. Let's take a closer look at it. Good returns on the last drive. He hit the end zone for the second time. Good returns in this first half, really.
Yeah, good returns for his team. Really good returns for the guy. You know where I'm going. Darn right. Those fantasy guys who have him on their team, they're rejoicing right now, and they have a high expectation that what they've seen already will continue.
You talk about fantasy a lot, but you don't. Why don't you just play? You don't.
I'm not good enough to play the fantasy game. I enjoy watching
you. You're an analyst. You're an expert.
I mean, you were a champ last year. Keep it up.
5th place.
Okay. Well, that's a champ in my book. To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
Looking to throw, Young. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
Nice back-to-back plays defensively. They're stacking momentum now. 1 incompletion, 2 incompletion. They're going for more.
Throwing, Young. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
That could be the stop this defense needed to get them back on track. They've been pretty well dissected by the offense here in the first half. After that possession, now they know that they can compete with this offense.
4th down, Young. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. A surprising move to go for it predictably, at least somewhat predictably. It doesn't pay off, and the Saints are going to get it back and in great shape. Play action. Now it's Carr. He's going to let it go deep for the end zone. And this one is incomplete.
Let's give this defense some credit now. They let the guys get downfield, but when push came to shove, they stood their ground, and now they'll likely force a field goal attempt.
Carr again here on 2nd and 10. And that's going to be too high, out of bounds and incomplete.
This defense has passed its first 2 tests by forcing back-to-back incompletions. They know that there's probably another throw coming on 3rd down. Let's see if they decide to force the issue by sending people on a blitz.
Now yet another incompletion here as they fail to connect on 3rd.
Oh, that's going to hurt a bit because they needed to come through with a completion there. Now a drive that started with great field position is facing 4th down.
The kick by Lutz is good. And high fives for that one as that drive ends in 3. So the starting field position was terrific following the surprising turnover on downs, but the end result, only 3 points.
Simply stated, I think you have to look at that as a missed opportunity.
And a fair catch taken here at the 5-yard line. Interesting. This Carolina offense at the line, ready to go. 1 second, all that remains. And now this throw incomplete, and that is how this first half will come to an end. So we come upon halftime with 9 points separating these two teams. As we send you on over to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Take it away, Coach.
All right, Brandon, we'll get back to you and Charles in a bit. But first, let's get to some of these scores around the NFL here in a busy Week 14. We'll begin in the NFC South. Tampa Bay paying their yearly visit to Atlanta. And it's the Buccaneers who are out in front with that game closing in on halftime. Mike Evans, a touchdown reception. From there, we'll jet north to Ohio to check in on the Browns at home at Cleveland Browns Stadium. And they trail in that one as it's the visiting Jags who are out in front. Trevor Lawrence with a couple of touchdown passes there. Lastly, let's get to the Windy City. See what's happening with the Bears at home at Soldier Field. And that game all tied up as they do battle with the visiting Lions. We saw a strong first half from the veteran quarterback, Derek Carr. He threw a first quarter touchdown pass, then 2 more in the second quarter, a 3-touchdown half. And he may just be getting started. Both teams going through their final halftime adjustments. We're about ready to get back to football. And to bring you the second half from the Superdome, let's go back to Brandon and Charles.
Okay, Coach, thanks as always to you and the gang in Orlando as we welcome everyone back in for quarter number 3. The Panthers going to get the football first, trailing here as well as we resume play in this second half. And this will not be returned, so the second half begins with a touchback. Out come the Panthers. They'll have it first on offense in the third quarter. And right out of the gate, they face what you think could be a pretty important drive.
I would say so. You know, they're down 2 scores. That's not the end of the world. It wasn't the strongest of first halves, but for them to start clawing back, they've got to start putting a little pressure on that defense, start cutting into this deficit. You can't have 3 and outs and expect to get that done.
On the tackle, Tyrann Mathieu. They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. Young will set to throw. Short throw hauled in by Trimble. And he gets this one just shy of the 40 down at the 39. First target, first catch, and a first down.
I like how they work the tight end on a nice little under route there. And if you're going to give him that much space, he's not going to catch the football. He's going to run away from you a little bit, and that's exactly what he just did there, picking up extra yardage.
Meanwhile, the throw by Young was knocked away and incomplete.
Well, defensively, they haven't let him just sit in the pocket and get comfortable, and that's opposite a lot of game plans in today's NFL. Ordinarily, you're trying to keep the quarterback hemmed in. In this case, they brought the heat, and if he flushes out, they're fine with that, and they force another incompletion.
Here's a throw to his running back. It's complete. 4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd down.
Caught that look from me there, partner. I think we're on the same page on that one. Just his first catch. I think we both thought he'd be a little more active in the passing game. Let's see if that's the start of them trying to get the ball to him a little bit more here in the second half.
Good contain, no gain on the screen, and it'll bring up 4th down.
And I know that one didn't work out the way they thought, but I don't think it was a bad time to call this play. You're thinking on 3rd down, you might possibly see some pressure. You might see a blitz. So they tried to set up the screen, but that one was well read, and they stopped them for no gain.
Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he is going to have a Panthers 1st down, and they come up with a big one there to keep the drive moving and then some. Both sides were holding their breath there on that 4th down play, and the offense can breathe a sigh of relief.
And both knew exactly where the 1st down markers were. You know the defense is trying to guard those sticks and try and keep people in front, but somehow, some way, those guys found a way to pick it up.
To the air once more, Young. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Marcus May with a pick. And the Saints are going to take over here at their own 22-yard line. Tough one there. First drive of the 3rd quarter, throw an interception, and now a chance that they could be an even a bigger hole if they can convert this into points.
Yeah, but how good do you feel if you're that defensive coordinator right now? Because you just know that the head coach looked at him and said, turn him loose, big man. And he'd be able to take a few extra chances playing with this type of a lead, and boy, it paid off.
9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1. To throw, it's Carr. There's a short one to the tight end, Johnson. He's been big, 2 touchdowns earlier. Now he's got a 1st down here.
And the tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then of course they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play. And that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9. Again, it's Kamara. And he'll get it out a couple yards shy of midfield at the 48. Now, during that run, an injury here. We've got one of those big blockers in some discomfort. So as the medical staff takes a look, we'll step aside. Incomplete, but a penalty flag is down in the backfield. Let's get the call.
Holding offense.
That hold coming from the left side of the line.
Hands got caught in the cookie jar on that one, and the flag came out. Penalty against them.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty. Carr going to throw. To the right side and complete to Thomas. Now a timeout here, at least for the moment. Looks like one of the Saints is injured, shaken up on that last play. From the 46, here's 2nd and 4. And Shaheed going to go in motion. On 2nd down, Kamara. And a pretty good burst right there as he'll take this down to the 33. 103 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon. Throwing on 1st down is Carr. Tries the left side and finds Olave. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. 12 yards that time for number 12 as they move the chains. Carr now on 1st down. He's got Smith here. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on 1st down. 2nd down and a yard. Now Carr. complete right around the 8. And the Saints are going to have a first and goal as he'll be taken down at the 7-yard line. It'll be first and goal when we come back. Back now here live in New Orleans. It's the Saints. They'll be looking to expand their lead here. They've got the football as we start the 4th. Carr now to throw. And it'll be intercepted. Picked off by J.C. Horn. And the Panthers are right back in this football game. So a good drive with a bad ending, Charles. They move it down the field well. Cannot finish it off, though, as it's intercepted in the end zone.
Deflating, that has got to be the word here because they were sharp in moving it down the field. But sometimes you start thinking like a touchdown is a given, and it doesn't always work out that way as we saw there.
Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down. And they'll go again here with Hubbard. And from the 4, they get it to the 8 on a pickup of 4. Well, now after all of this, hang on here because he appears to be shaken up. This offense so far on third down, they've converted 3 out of 5 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. Call it no gain there, and it leads to a 4th down. As expected, they're going for it to keep the drive alive. A hit as he throws, and this is going to be incomplete. And the Panthers turned away on 4th down. And now, boy, the ball's going to go over on downs here inside the 10-yard line. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. They'll get this out to Kamara. Touchdown! Making 4 touchdown passes now for Derek Carr. And the Saints look like they're going to get back in the win column as they extend their lead here in this 4th quarter. Well, this, of course, set up by the stop a moment ago on 4th down, and now that might be the score that puts this one officially out of reach.
And it's a tough one because your hands are tied when you're losing in the 4th quarter because you know you've got to make something happen. They couldn't pick up the first down, and after that, the air just went right out of the balloon, and you knew you were looking at a defeated team.
So the celebration in the end zone, but meanwhile, we do have an injured player. The medical staff will attend to him, and we will step aside. Now Raheem Blackshear going to take this one out. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. Here are the Panthers now as their offense comes back out onto the field. Charles, we know that this offense is aggressive. We saw that last drive. They went for it on 4th down, didn't get it. Then they give up the touchdown, so now you feel like they really need to respond here.
They certainly do, but let's face it. Sometimes when you take that risk, you understand if you fail, a little more onus goes back on your ball club to try and pick themselves back up.
Off the play fake, Young. And got his man complete. Down the right sideline. And did he get in? No. They'll mark him out at the 1-yard line. A big play there on the catch and run. And even 80 yards. And they'll run on first down with Hubbard. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down. Hubbard again. And he'll take this into the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina. Chuba Hubbard taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Panthers have got it back to a 2-score game here in the 4th. All right, so this one not quite over yet. Back to a 2-score game, CD.
Yeah, and you've still got 4+ minutes to go, so when you think about comebacks, it's happened before. Now, it hasn't happened often, but you've got to think to yourself, let's be the next great comeback story and play this one out.
Piñeiro's extra point up and good. And the lead is trimmed down to 10. So the lead back down to 10 as things get a little more interesting, and the kick is away. And they'll put up the stop sign there as his guys will get it at the 25. The New Orleans offense set to take over. Now, there are 2 scores on the plus side. Still time here in this fourth quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away?
Yeah, I think here's the situation. You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking first downs. To keep up with your theme there, playing keep away, first downs, they can't touch the ball.
Carr's throw there taken in by Smith. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. A good pickup there, 26 yards. So from Panther territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. A 10th carry for Kamara. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
He was waving his arms, wanted the football, but he dropped it. And that reminds me of a story you told me from your days at Tennessee. We don't need to mention the other guy's name, but when he dropped an open pass that you blew coverage on, what did you say to him?
Yeah, it's really not right since I blew coverage, but since he dropped the pass, I said, well, maybe next time he'll just walk it out here and hand it to you. Would that be easier? He wasn't real thrilled with that answer.
That's cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. Only 2 punts for him last week in the loss as he gets this one away. That one sails out of bounds. The side judge will walk it off. And he says it went out of bounds at the 9-yard line. Nice punt. Carolina getting set to take the field. Their defense was able to force the punt. That's the good news. But this is still a 2-score game, and they need points on this drive and in a relatively quick manner. A bit of an opening there on the first down run as they get this forward for about 6 yards.
I think we all suspected that they were going back to him after he found the end zone on his last carry, and they kept the positive momentum going there. Another nice run by him.
And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. The sound reverberating here in the dome. This is 3rd down. Here is Young. Escaping the pressure right. And he's going to be taken down. Plus, there's a penalty flag in the backfield. They may get 15 more on top of this. Well, certainly those are the types of mistakes they're trying to avoid as they attempt to protect this lead late in the game.
And let's face it, they're hoping that this one doesn't cost them in a significant way. Yeah, one guy committed a penalty, but now the entire defense has to pay the price and try and rise up and overcome it.
And that's caught inside the 30. Touchdown, Carolina. Laviska Shenault. 67 yards. And the Panthers have made it a 1-score game again here in the 4th. And what a throw that was, Charles. You think about the situation, close game, 4th quarter, rookie quarterback. He doesn't seem phased one bit.
So much for bright lights, big city, and will he wilt? Not at all. The stage not too big, the moment not too big at all. They needed points on that series, and not only did he produce a touchdown drive, but how about finishing it off with a big play that only adds to the momentum that they've already established.
They do tack on the extra point as well, and now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. So they got their touchdown, now down a field goal. Here comes the onside kick. And the Saints hands team able to rein this one in.
Illegal touching. Offense.
A big mistake in that spot. You got to let it go 10.
They didn't give themselves a chance. They had an opportunity, touched it first. Now they're in a really bad spot.
They got to have 2 hands on the football here as they run on first down. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop it. No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the 4th quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line.
And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. Jamal Williams, a 13-yard touchdown run. And the Saints get an important score there to extend their lead here in this fourth quarter. Lutz with the extra point, and his guys will take a 10-point lead. Well, it wasn't a one-play drive, but I think they'll take it. The scoring summary, 2 plays and into the end zone. This fielded right at the goal line. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. So now Young and the Panthers down by 10, 57 seconds to go. A crushing loss to their playoff chances on the horizon, barring a huge turnaround here, starting with 1st and 10. And Young's throw there incomplete.
And let's face it, this defense has had its share of struggles all game long, and they know that they can put it all behind them if they defend well here in the 2-minute drill. Excellent coverage right there to force the incompletion.
Here's Young. He's going to let it fly. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there trying to take a shot, but it's 3rd down.
Just a difficult situation to be in here in the final minute. Down 2 scores. You know you need some providence from somewhere. They're going to keep firing away till the end, but this one falls incomplete.
And he's taken down here by the Saints. Finally hauled down for the first time this game. Multiple defenders in there to drop him. No choice but to go. Here's 4th down now. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. He's got him in. Complete. And one of the whistles for a timeout. So they'll stop the clock here in a game that's been decided in the closing seconds. Young to throw. He lets this one fly toward the back of the end zone. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete.
Yeah, good coverage there in the end zone, and it's been like that all game long. And now, down 2 scores, I imagine they'll try again, but it'll just be for posterity's sake.
Now one final throw here is incomplete, and that is how this one will come to an end. Well, this was a fun one today if you like points. A lot of them went on the board. Both offenses were clicking. Charles, these defenses, meanwhile, have a little something to clean up before their next contest.
Yeah, neither end zone had a stop sign in it, did they? I mean, for both sides, visit it, and with frequency. Not fun to be a defensive player, but on the offensive side of the ball, those guys had a blast. One team came away with a victory, even better for them.
So for the Saints, it's a 4th win on the year as they move to 4-9. And they'll get to stay home again next week. Meanwhile, for the Panthers, it's a potentially fatal blow to their playoff chances as they drop to 6-7 on the year. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. That'll do it for us. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. Thanks to our entire crew as well. We'll talk to you next time. So long, everybody.